Miss Maeve again from the Frankfort Community Public Library. I hope you enjoyed taking a trip to the apple orchard last week with Miss Gina. This week, our theme is alligators and crocodiles. Oh my! Have you ever seen an alligator or a crocodile? How can you tell the difference? Well, today we're gonna take a trip to meet a real live alligator. Miss Jasmine from the Columbian Park Zoo is going to tell us all about alligators. But first, let's get started with our welcome song. Here, here, we're all here. Here, here, we're all here. Here, here, we're all here. We're all here for story time. Aki, aki, todos aki, 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 todos aki, aki, aquí, todos aquí, y vamos a leer. Here's a little rhyme for you. Get your arms ready. Alligator, alligator, long and green. Alligator, alligator, teeth so mean. Snapping at a fly, snapping at a bee, snapping at a frog, but you can't catch me. Hey again, friends. We're here at the Columbian Park Zoo, and this is Jasmine again.
Hi, everybody.
And she's going to tell us a little bit about her friend.
This is Izod the American Alligator. So we're going to learn all about gators today and learn some really fun facts about these animals and why they're super important in our ecosystems for such a really big animal. Now, Izod here, he is about 10 years old. We actually got him in September of 2010, so 10 years ago. And as you can see, he's not very big compared to a grown adult male alligator. Now, most adult alligators are usually going to be about 14, 15 feet long and weigh well over, 200 pounds. And Izod's a little bit smaller than what he should be. Now, Izod, he did come to us 10 years ago. However, he came to us in some rather unfortunate circumstances. He was actually confiscated by the local police here in Lafayette, and he was an illegal pet in someone's home. So here in the state of Indiana, it is illegal to have alligators for obvious reasons. But when we received him, we noticed he was very, very small. We weren't sure what his age was. The people who tried to own him didn't really have any good records on his age, so we thought maybe he was just a youngster. But as time went on and we noticed he was growing, but not as fast as most alligators do, our vet kind of figured out that his growth was most likely stunted. So what that means is if an animal doesn't get proper nutrition or development when it's really young, when it's a baby, that can cause it to grow much slower than it's supposed to be, and sometimes they never reach full size, depending on how long or how severe the stunting is. So Izod is a stunted alligator, so he is fairly long. He's probably about maybe 4 feet long, but an alligator this age, at 10 years old, he should at least be 10 feet by now. Most alligators usually grow about a foot a year, especially in their early stages. But lucky for us, he's still small enough to be able to do education programs just like this. He's nice handheld size for us right now. He is still growing. If you believe it or not, he was probably only about this big when we first got him. So he's grown quite a bit in our care. And so one day he will leave Columbian Park Zoo once he gets a little bit too big for our small little zoo. But we love teaching people about alligators because he's not an animal you can see here in Indiana. He's not a native species. He's normally going to be found in the swamps and wetlands down in the southeast of the United States. So picture Florida, Louisiana, the Carolinas. That's the place for alligators. That's where they like to be. They are well adapted for living in the water. They have lots of adaptations, parts of their body that help them swim. So I'm going to bring them a little bit closer so you guys can see some of those fun adaptations here. So the first thing I want you guys to look at is look at his beautiful face. Look at those gorgeous eyes. Look at that nice long snout. You'll notice that his nose is on the top of his head. Yeah, no problem. And what's really interesting is when an alligator is swimming in the water, they can have their nose right above that water line so they can still breathe, but the rest of their body will be sinking. It will be underneath so they can hide really, really well. Another really cool thing about their eyes is they actually have 2 sets of eyelids. So we have an eyelid that goes up and down when we blink, easy peasy. And he has one too. But he has a second one that's clear. That's called a nictitating membrane. And what it does is when he's swimming, it's just like a built-in pair of goggles. It helps him see in the murky, nasty water that he's swimming in. So if I gently run my finger over this eyelid, you can actually see that second eyelid. Did you guys see that? Here, I'll do it one more time. Ready? Okay. Here we go. Wasn't that awesome? Look at that. So those are some really cool adaptations on his face that he has for swimming. But of course, the rest of his body helps him do that too. He's got webbed feet, kind of like a duck's foot, to help him paddle through the water. And then of course, this really long, strong tail, it's like a motor on a boat, helps him cruise along in those Everglades. And it's very powerful. They can swim really, really fast. And when they're little like this, they can run pretty fast too, and sometimes even climb. But once they get really big and really hefty, all of their activity is going to be more in the water, not so much on land. When they're on land, they're going to be sunbathing, catching those beautiful rays, and they're just going to be digesting anything that they just ate. Now, with alligators, all these tough scales that they have, since he's a reptile, he has scales. He's got really tough ones on the top of his back and on his head called osteoderms. What that means is they're thickened with bone underneath to make them extra strong, because even alligators have to worry about predators. Little alligators like Izod usually have to worry about big fish like alligator gars, sometimes raccoons, cougars, that sort of thing, birds of prey like owls or eagles and hawks. Once he's a grown-up alligator, the only predator he's going to have to worry about is other grown-up alligators. Yes, alligators are unfortunately cannibals. They will eat their own kind, but when they're young, they've got mama to keep them safe for a little bit. Mama takes really good care of the babies. She'll guard the eggs until they're hatched, and then she'll guard the babies for about a week, sometimes 2 weeks, until they're strong enough to start swimming and hunting on their own. So they've got some really tough mamas out there, which is really good. Now, we've learned a lot about alligators, but let's see if these lovely ladies have any questions about Izod for us. Maeve, do you want to come touch Izod and tell everyone what he feels like to you? What does he feel like?
Oh, wow. I can hear him breathing, too. I can feel his scales. They feel really hard on his back. But then when I come down on his side, ooh, it's a little softer.
Kind of leathery, right? Like,
yeah.
Maybe like a football or a basketball.
Yeah.
But yeah, that tough part, those tough scales, they keep him really, really safe, just like a suit of armor.
Yeah, and you can kind of feel his little muscles in his arms.
He's in good shape for an alligator right now.
This is so cool. So what, did you go over what all he eats? I don't remember.
I don't think I did now. Alligators are what we consider carnivores, so they eat other animals. Now, alligators aren't very picky either, so they're going to eat pretty much anything that comes really close to the water. So young alligators like Izod are usually going to eat small fish, some bugs, maybe some small mammals like rats and mice that come close by.
Okay.
Once he gets full grown, he's going to upgrade to deer and raccoons and big birds, big fish, and like I said, maybe another alligator. So he is a carnivore, so you definitely want to stay away from wild alligators. We want to make sure you guys are safe out there. So yes, don't want to be touching wild alligators like this. Good question. Any other questions?
So you have alligators and you have crocodiles.
We do, yes.
How can I tell the difference between an alligator and a crocodile?
That is a fantastic question, Maeve. Now, the best way to tell, it's going to be looking at their head safely, of course. Now, if I bring Izod down like this, you'll notice that his tail, or sorry, not his tail, his head right here is shaped rounded, like it's shaped like the letter U. His cousin, the crocodile, is going to have a very sharp-pointed, narrow snout. So theirs looks much more like the letter V. So that's the biggest way you can tell. Another way you can tell is by looking at their teeth. So Izod, you can't really see his teeth too well because he's still a youngin', at least he thinks he is, so he's still got little baby teeth. But with an alligator, his teeth, you only see the top teeth sticking out, right? All the other bottom teeth you can't see, they're still inside his mouth. But with a crocodile, all of their teeth are sticking out. Alligators have special slits in their top jaw to hold the lower teeth in so they're nice and fit. Crocodiles don't have those slots, so they're just sticking out all over the place. One last tip. It's going to depend on where you are. So if you are near freshwater and you see something that kind of looks like this, it could be an alligator or a crocodile. Crocodiles can live in both freshwater and saltwater. Now, if you're near the ocean, if you're near saltwater, it's 100% a crocodile because alligators can only live in freshwater. And generally, if you're just looking at the size, alligators are generally smaller than crocodiles. They don't get as big, they don't get as fat, but they're still really formidable animals, so you still want to make sure you're extra careful.
When alligators have babies, do they come out like human babies? Or do they come out in eggs like chickens and other birds?
Yeah. So alligators, being reptiles, they are going to hatch from eggs like a chicken or a duck would, but their eggs aren't going to look or feel like a chicken egg. Reptile eggs, instead of being hard like a chicken egg, they're actually really leathery, kind of soft. But the babies inside still need a way to get out, so all baby reptiles that come out of eggs, when they're first hatched, they have a tiny little tooth right in the front, and they use that to pierce the egg and cut their way out. Chickens also have the same thing on their beak as well. Little chicks, when they first hatch, they do the same thing. And then with alligators, once they hatch, they actually make little chirping noises to let mom know that they've hatched, and then she digs them out of the nest, carries them in her mouth, into the water. That way they're nice and safe.
Wow.
Isn't that awesome? So yeah, Izod here came from a little egg, just a tiny egg. Alligator eggs aren't super big. They're probably about this big.
Okay.
So a little bit bigger than a chicken egg, but smaller than, say, a baseball. Yeah.
Cool.
It's pretty cool.
What about ears? Do they have ears?
They do not. So not all reptiles have ears like we do. Some of them have ear holes where they don't have this extra flap of skin, but they do have a hole so they can still hear, and they have an eardrum. Some animals, though, like alligators, lack ears. So instead, they sense things through vibrations. It's usually going to be through their lower jaw. So do you see all these dots on his lower jaw here?
I do.
These are his electromagnetic sensors. So it allows him to sense vibrations and sense pulses when he's swimming in the water. That way he's able to locate prey very easily.
Wow, that's really neat.
Yeah, so even though they don't have ears, they have extra senses they can use.
Very cool.
These are some great questions.
I noticed right here next to his eye, he's got something going on. Is that like a little hole or something? Or like?
Oh, so that right here, that's just extra flesh. It's just extra cushion. Since they swim at high speeds. That way it doesn't damage their eye.
Okay.
It's kind of like fat. It's just some extra fat.
Okay. Gotcha. I'm looking at him and getting up close and personal with him.
Course.
It's really neat.
Yeah, not a lot of people get an opportunity to meet such an amazing animal so close. So I'm glad we were able to make this happen.
Me too.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Any last questions?
I don't have any more.
Okay, well, I did notice you've got some nice books over here for us. What are these?
I do. So some of these are fiction books, just stories about alligators. And then this one here tells you a little bit more about alligators and crocodiles. So if you want more information, you can come to our library and check out some of these books that tell you more about the alligators, or just check out some fun ones to read about alligators.
That sounds like an awesome time. I think Izod will have to check out some of these books, huh? What about this one? What about, may I please have a cookie? That seems like a fun one. I think you would love a cookie.
Oh, I bet you would.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me today.
And thank you, Jasmine, for joining or for having us here.
Absolutely.
And we really appreciate this.
Perfect. Thanks for learning about alligators today. Bye, guys. See you later.
Bye. Story time, everybody. May I please have a cookie? By Jennifer E. Morris. With permission from Scholastic Publishing. Mommy was baking cookies. Alfie loved cookies. He loved to smell cookies. He loved to look at cookies. Do you love to smell cookies? I do. But most of all, Alfie loved to eat cookies. Me too. Don't grab, Alfie, said Mommy. Can you think of a better way to get a cookie? Alfie thought and thought and thought. Then Alfie got an idea. He found a big coat and a big hat. I want a cookie, said Alfie in a big, deep voice. Oops, his mustache fell off. No, Alfie, said Mommy. Think of a better way to get a cookie. Alfie had another idea. He went outside. Mommy put icing on the cookies. Then she saw something. Do you see that? A hook coming to take a cookie. Get down, Alfie, cried Mommy. Think of a better way to get a cookie. Alfie thought of another idea. He went to his room and got some paper. He cut and he colored. Soon, Alfie had his own cookies. Oh, but he still wanted a real cookie. He began to cry. Mommy hugged Alfie. Your cookies look yummy. May I please have one? Oh. Then Alfie had the best idea of all. Mommy, may I please have a cookie, he said. Yes, you may, Alfie, said Mommy. Thank you, said Alfie. You're welcome, said Mommy. Five little monkeys. 5 little monkeys swinging in a tree, teasing Mr. Crocodile. Can't catch me. Along comes Mr. Crocodile, quiet as can be, and snaps that monkey right out of that tree. 4 little monkeys swinging in a tree, teasing Mr. Crocodile. Can't catch me. Along comes Mr. Crocodile, quiet as can be, and snaps that monkey right out of that tree. 3 little monkeys swinging in a tree, teasing Mr. Crocodile. Can't catch me. Along comes Mr. Crocodile, quiet as can be, and snaps that monkey right out of that tree. We have 2 little monkeys swinging in the tree, teasing Mr. Crocodile. Can't catch me. Along comes Mr. Crocodile, quiet as can be, and snaps that monkey right out of that tree. 1 little monkey swinging in the tree, teasing Mr. Crocodile. Can't catch me. Along comes Mr. Crocodile, quiet as can be, and snaps that monkey right out of that tree. Alligator Wrap. Tap, 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 do the alligator wrap. Swish your tail in time to the alligator rhyme. Spread those scaly claws on your alligator paws. Stomp your scaly feet to the alligator beat. Tap, 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 do the alligator wrap. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. If you see a crocodile, don't forget to scream. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. If you see an alligator, don't forget to scream. Ah! That's it for this time, everybody. I hope you had fun. Join Miss Gina next week as she takes you on an adventure to Columbian Park Zoo again to see some bugs. If you want to read any more stories about alligators, we have a whole lot more on our shelves, but here are a couple that you might enjoy. So now it's time for our goodbye song. See ya later, alligator, after a while, crocodile. Give a hug, ladybug, blow a kiss, jellyfish. See ya soon, big baboon, out the door, dinosaur. Take care, polar bear, wave goodbye, butterfly. Bye-bye.